Adam found out that I haven't watched Signs, so I have to do that.
I think
Hopefully,
you should. I think your assignment for the week.
yeah. My assignment is to
you
watch
you have
Signs.
got to watch Signs this week, and you can give your review of Signs. And if you want to shit on it, go ahead and shit on it. But you need
All
to
right.
watch that
It's
movie
M
and
Night.
like
When you
give your
said
honest
M Night
opinion.
Shyamalan, I'm like, oh god.
His movies are great, by the way. Like
Uh,
he has more out of the parks than like strikeouts,
Not
for sure.
what's the one with McAvoy with 20 personalities? That was like the one I was like, okay, that
Split
was okay.
Split is great, but
Yeah, Split was all right.
the yeah, but if you watch Unbreakable or Unbroken, whatever it is, the Split is actually a sequel to that movie. That's why Bruce Willis shows up in the end.
That's why I was kind of like, I don't know
Like
why
you need
is
to watch
Bruce Willis in
Unbreakable.
there?
You got to watch Unbreakable because that movie's way better than Split, and that's one of his first movies. Like that's why I'm saying like you can't write off him like, and he's coming out with Old, which is coming out in a couple weeks. That movie looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Have you
old.
seen the
Is that what
trailers
it
for
says?
Old where
Old.
they're on the beach? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Then
called
they
Old.
after like every half hour they
They age
age
like 20
five
years or
years,
something.
5 years or something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, that's weird, but it's kind of
It's
interesting
creepy,
at the
but
same time.
his movies are like that, where there's always like some sort of twist. But again, it's not like horror for horror's sake. Yes, there's some jump scares and things, but um, it's more about the psychology of what's going on between the people, and that's
Yeah.
what makes such a good movie. So, Science is the exact same. Science is like the perfect example of a great M Night Shyamalan movie.
What
I
about
could
that
not
other?
recommend.
What about the
If I
other? What about the other great movie with Jonah Jonas with Will Smith and his son? That was the greatest movie on earth.
so that's a strikeout. That's what we talk about when I talk about a strikeout. I'm talking about After Earth or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
After Earth or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's what. Yeah, I mean that movie's terrible. Or Last Airbender. Yes, like he has when he when he does not make a hit, it is really bad. Like it's no in between. There's no in between. Like you remember what? Have you seen The Village?
uh, why? I think I have. Maybe I think that sounds familiar. I remember
Like The
seeing
Village
the.
is great.
I remember seeing the other one with Mark Wahlberg.
That
Um,
movie is terrible. The Happening.
that was
I think it's a
fucking.
happening,
It
or
was. It
yeah, I
was.
think
It
it's a
was.
happening.
And it was fucking hilarious. I
That
love that
movie.
movie. That movie was
Are you
amazing.
gonna kill me in my sleep? No, no.
That
Oh my
movie
god,
was
that movie's
fantastic.
terrible.
I've seen like when someone says M Night Shyamalan, I'm just thinking all the terrible movies I
Yeah,
watched.
so you're thinking of The Happening, you're thinking
Yeah,
of
those are the movies I
Airbender, and you're
watched.
thinking of
Yeah.
After Earth. When you say M Night, I think of Unbreakable. I think of Signs. I think of The Village. I think it's a Grandparent, whatever the new one of the newer ones. Grandparent one came out. I think of Split. I think of uh, A Glass. Like
Yeah.
those movies are all really good. Like they're all really good. I even think yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, but Lady in the Water is honestly, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. It's definitely very different than anything else he makes. And then you have, I think it's called just Devil, where everybody's locked in the elevator the whole movie. It's a pretty short movie, but
Yeah.
I think that movie's pretty good.
I think I saw that one because that does sound
I think we
familiar.
might have seen that like years ago. It's like
Yeah, I
it probably came
remember.
out 10 years ago at this
Yeah,
point.
because I remember. I'm pretty sure we did see a movie about that. Just the whole movie
Yeah,
was
and it
just
ends
in
up
an
being
elevator.
it ends up being the grandma.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember we watched that some point in time. I don't know when, but I remember we did see it.
But
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, and I think his newest movie looks pretty good. I mean, I'm interested in seeing it.
When I saw Old and then I says from the direct for the mind of M Night Shyamalan, I'm like, oh, here we go. What's
Yeah,
this other?
it's called Devil. It was out in 2010. Yeah, but you have Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, and then you have like five movies that are bad. You have right in a row. You have
Right in a
Lady in
row?
the Water. Yeah, like Lady in the Water is like that's like the downfall. Like everyone dogs on that movie. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad, but it's not. It's definitely. It's just really odd. Okay, it's just not. It's a very unique movie. You have that movie, The Happening,
Uh huh.
Last Airbender. Then you have Devil, which was kind of a flop.
Uh huh.
Then you have After Earth. Those are five terrible
Jesus,
movies.
back
Okay,
five
so
streaks.
so then he took 3 years off to make movies, and like so when he started out, he had Praying with Anger was his first producer movie. I don't know what that is. Let me just look at his directing. Yeah, I don't know. He directed Praying with Anger. I don't know what that movie is, 1992. But he did Wide Awake. I don't know that movie either. But The Sixth Sense, that's M. Night Shyamalan.
Hmm.
Bruce Willis, I See Dead People. Unbreakable, Signs, The Village. Then he has those 5 terrible movies. Then he has The Visit with that movie's crazy. Then you have Split, the sequel to Unbreakable. Then you have Glass, the sequel to Split. And now you have Old that's coming out, and I think that's gonna be good. So he has more good movies than bad
Well,
movies, in my
I've
opinion.
seen 4 out of those things you've listed that are bad.
Yeah, yeah,
Besides Split, I did see Split and I did enjoy it. I did enjoy
yeah. See, and
Split.
I think if you Unbreakable is really like, it's funny because Unbreakable is the sequel, or Split is a sequel to Unbreakable, and
Yeah.
Unbreakable is just a comic book movie. Like you don't
Really?
realize it. You don't realize it until the end, but the whole movie is a comic book movie.
Hmm.
Okay, so like literally, it's about comics. It's his ode. It's his
His
comic book
his
origin
take
story.
on it.
And it's you gotta understand this movie came out around the same time as like Spider-Man, and those movies started coming out. And it was
Wow.
really it totally flew under the radar. Nobody talks about. It. And then Split came out because his movies are like cult classics.
Mm-hmm.
And then Split came out, and nobody thought it was gonna be a sequel to Unbreakable. And then Bruce Willis shows up
Then
at the end, and it's like holy crap.
then
And
the
then Glass came out a couple years ago, and that's the third movie. So he has like an unofficial trilogy between those 3 movies.
everyone lost their shit when they saw Bruce Willis at the end of it. They're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
for
and
the
then you
people
have
that watch the other movies, like me, I'm kind of like, "Why is he here?"
well, you have Samuel Jackson too. He's the
Yeah.
main villain in Glass and Unbreakable. So he comes in on the third movie back again after Unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch those. You got to catch up on him. But you got to watch Signs. Signs is by far, to me, Sixth Sense is a fantastic. Have you ever watched Sixth Sense?
I believe so. I think so. Isn't that the guy with the dead people?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not Macaulay Culkin, but
Haley Joel
yeah,
Osment.
yeah, yeah. And Bruce Willis. So they're the main characters. That's a great. I mean, that's a great movie. That's the one that kind of kicked his career off, I would say.
Hmm.
But Signs is Mel Gibson, Walking Phoenix.
Wow.
Yeah, it's it's a awesome movie. They're all super young because it's in like '98 when that movie came out or whatever. You got to see that movie.
Just seen like a younger Joaquin Phoenix and a younger Mel Gibson. This probably in his Patriot days, huh?
Yeah, it would probably have been
Probably
around.
around that time, or
It would have been within like 2 or 3 years of that
yeah,
movie.
I
Yeah,
was
because
gonna
I think
say.
Patriot came out like 2001, 2002.
Oh, really? Huh, that's what made it. I don't know why it made it feel like it was like in the '90s, but yeah, yeah, you're
Because
probably
it
right.
seems like a '90s movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it came out in the early 2000s though, and I think Signs came out like '98, '99. It was right around the same time, within a
Yeah.
couple years.
And so Mel Gibson was that go-to star during that
He
time
still
period.
is, man. Mel Gibson's the man.
He's the man with the plan.
I can go through all his B movies that I watch now. They're all really good. Get the Gringo. Oh man, where he goes down to Mexico to save his daughter. Get the Gringo, dude. That's such a good movie.
Oh my god. All right, well,
He's just a pissed off dad in all his movies now. It's the best.
it's great. We'll end off with a high note with Mel Gibson.